Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it's the weekend. This is rather players, I must admit. It was, too much last week, culminating yesterday in having to take my pussy cat to the vets. So I am considerably lighter of wallet, and the cat is considerably, well, more of antibiotic, really. Anyway, we made it official. He is big boned rather than fat, so Yabu sucks to that, yes. Anyway, leaving all that aside, the media, yes. Now, we're all desperately being pushed into a polarised position by the cheapening, if I can put it that way, of the media, because we now have to pay a great deal for anything like half-decent media. I was struck by this piece in the Times yesterday, which is actually very nuanced about free speech, and rightly has a go at our inevitable free speech merchants. Yes, I'm thinking about you, Lord Young et al., who will decry free speech and the way that other people just are trying to take it all away from us, whilst at the same time patently ignoring the hypocrisy, the gross hypocrisy that they managed to come out with at the same time. And I was best reminded by people suggesting that these people have no sense of shame about them at all, and it's true. They just don't care about the fact that they lie about things. Which perhaps brings us neatly on to, certain other people complaining about free speech, because our great friend of the channel, I was struck by this yesterday, James Esses posted this up, because he's now in the Matt Goodwin propaganda for the Reform Party camp. So, of course, he can't have a nuanced approach, because there are various people that will simply slam into him. Yeah, he suffers from that as well. His own side will lay into him if he isn't enough of a nutcase. So he has to take all these ridiculous positions, which realistically any sensible or educated person wouldn't hold. So when there was a bit of a spat yesterday between one of our independent Muslim, oh dear God, MPs and, oh dear God indeed, in every sense of the word, Mr. Lowe MP, about free speech, James had to, pipe up, didn't he? I'm Jewish and I fight for the right to people to offend Jews. The fact you're not fighting for the same for Muslims is beyond telling. Which got me thinking about, all of those things that people do indeed get cross about, because we've had a lot lately about, people must have the right to offend each other. And there was the famous bloke burning the Koran, who, for some reason or other, Robert Jenrick and the rest of the free speech merchants have decided to champion, which I think is a real mistake if you realistically think about it. Because if I was to trot down to my local cathedral, which is about 10 miles away from me here, and stand outside it on multiple occasions burning Bibles while shouting, I don't think that I would be given a very easy ride. But this guy apparently, is really standing up for the rights of the individual to just be an arse, as far as I can make out. But going back to James Esses, he has a long history of not agreeing with what he just posted. I will point you to January of this year. I'm a Jew from Ireland. All right, mate, knock yourself out. To watch Irish Jewish people being forcibly removed from a Holocaust memorial event after the President of Ireland decided it was an appropriate time to preach about Gaza is sickening. Ireland has become a shadow of its former self. Yes, isn't it awful with these people voicing an opinion who are then removed? But, of course, the problem with that is that they're at an event where they're disrupting a free speech thing, aren't they? Well, no, of course not, because it depends what you're saying as to whether or not the value of your free speech has such. Now, James will defend the right of anyone to insult Jewish people, unless they do insult Jewish people, in which case it's suddenly a different matter, isn't it? How am I wrong on this? I don't know. Maybe James would care to explain to me, but he's not very good at that. I mean, he went through a phase last year of threatening people with solicitors' letters, and that soon petered out when he realised that actually he was going to lose because, we do have some notions of free speech. Or how about this? Because this is his stock in trade about people making statements, often on a collective basis, which in itself becomes part of the problem, because of course you must never have a collective action, because that's really bad, because that's communism, in very much the same way as anything the Labour Party does is communism these days, even though they are basically where David Cameron was 20 years ago. But leaving that aside, in an article entitled "It's Time for psychologists to become activists. The British Psychological Society tells psychologists to forego neutrality in favour of anger. The individual's response for our nation's mental health are in need of mental health treatment themselves. Yes, imagine a group of people who are professionals, James, with professional qualifications coming up with something and deciding to do it. Oh no, of course not. That would be wrong, wouldn't it? People having, well, an opinion that you don't agree with. Still, you will stand up for the right for them, well, not to have that opinion. And a slightly more recent, but not by much, recent past, sorry. If you're a drag queen and you know it, you really want to show it, shout Free Palestine. The youngest of children being indoctrinated by not one but two ideologies, which ironically are fundamentally incompatible with one another. Yeah, you see, you can't have an opinion in front of James if it's something to do with Jewish people, even though he will most definitely be the adult in the room who's going to be perfectly fine with you having an opinion, apparently. Yeah, I don't know, is it just me? I just can't make this stuff up. I realise all of us are allowed to have certain contradictory opinions, and all of us are hypocrites to a certain extent, but I don't think I'm that blatant about it, because of course I don't make any money out of this, whereas James has to, because nobody's going to him for therapy, because, let's face it, he's not qualified. Yeah, all of those professional people who vote for a professional qualification, that a professional organisation that they've got, given their professional qualifications, I think sticks in his craw somewhere. That's why he will always complain about Childline, because of course he wasn't well treated by them. Yes. Anyway, lovely to see all the free speech merchants out. I just wish they would, have a fairly consistent line. You're either for free speech or you're not. I'm partially for free speech, all right? I don't think people have the right to stand outside places burning Qurans and shouting. I just think that's obnoxious, and I think you need to understand that it is. I also think it's obnoxious for people to suggest that they're fully in favour of free speech and swear blind that they really don't mind people having a go at their own particular beliefs, and then spend their lives making money out of exactly a contrary position to that. It just tastes nasty, and I think James should understand that. I don't know, maybe there's a professional group of people that he could go to and discuss it or something, because after all he seems very keen on other people's mental health. Anyway, do have gorgeous rest of the day. Sunshine. My pussycat, unfortunately, will have to have, things inserted to, make sure that his temperature's gone down. After that, though, I think I might be forgiven. Anyway, do have a lovely, lovely, lovely one. And, whatever you do, remember, you don't have a right to be insulted. Or do you? I get confused. Maybe James can tell me.